welcome back. Today's video, I will be talking about a collection of records by one band, and that band today is R.E.M. All right, so let's get started. All right, so for those who don't know, R.E.M. are a band from Athens, Georgia. Started in the early 80s. They are Michael Stipe, Bill Berry, Mike Mills, and Peter Buck. They did later on they had some people for touring, but I don't think they were ever officially in the band. And even when Bill Berry left the band in the late 90s or early 2000s, I think they just had random drummers. I don't think they ever had an official replacement for him. They just had guys who they had drumming for them. Anyway, let's get started. The early stuff was on the indie label IRS Records. About halfway through their career, they signed with Warner Brothers when they started to get big enough. So the starting point here, Chronic Town. This is an EP. This was released, I think, in 82. This was 82 on IRS Records. This is as you can see, you'll notice all the early ones will look exactly the same as far as labels go. All IRS. And this was great. I mean, this is great. Features Million, Stumble, Wolves, Lower, Gardening at Night, and Carnival of Sorts. Gardening at Night, I think, is probably my favorite track off of this. But this whole thing is great. Early on, especially in I'd say most of the IRS stuff, or at least the early stuff, Michael Stipe did kind of sound like he was mumbling. It was often hard to hear what he was saying, and I think later on he said some of the stuff he doesn't remember the lyrics because maybe he was just mumbling. I'm not sure, but hard to say. Debut record debut full-length record, Murmur, R.E.M. This featured the first single that they'd ever released. And that was that's Murmur. First single was Radio Free Europe. Different version though. They re-recorded it for this album. Right here. If you're looking for the original version, it was called the Hibtone single. I think it was on Hibtone Records or something. So that's why it's called that. There is a version of it. There's a compilation. Can't remember what it's called now, but there was a compilation of early stuff that came out before they started with the Warner Brothers stuff, I think. And it has some of the different versions of the songs. But this is phenomenal. Great debut. Carrying on from what the EP had going on. Aside from Ready for Europe, Pilgrimage is good. Talk About the Passion. The whole thing is good. Catapult, solid record. Awesome start. A classic, really. So this is Murmur. I bought most of these in the 80s, probably around 84, 85, when I was really getting into R.E.M. Next one, this is their second record. This is Reckoning, still on IRS Records. This has 7 Chinese Brothers, Pity Persuasion, Don't Go Back to Rockville, I think that was one of the singles, and the other one, South Central Rain. That was the big single, and off this, I believe, had the chorus of I'm Sorry. I think they actually performed that song on Letterman, David Letterman show around 83, probably. Because I remember seeing a clip of that. So I think that's when they were starting to get a little more attention, building up their image a bit, I guess, getting known right there. So that is that one. Next up, their next record, Fables of the Reconstruction. I think a little underrated, this one. I don't know if it gets the attention it should, because it's it's solid. It's a great album. I mean, it did have the main singles, Can't Get There From Here, and what's the other one? Is Driver 8. I mean, very strong singles. Those were very, they had very strong hooks to them, you know. Especially Driver 8. It's got like a very, the lead guitar on it, the main hook or the riff on that is very powerful, actually. And aside from that, personally, I think my favorite track on here is Wendell Gee. You know, that's kind of a slower track, slower song, very ballady, but really nice. And again, a solid record, great record, really, that I think is a little bit underrated. The next one, I think, is the one that kind of blew them a little bit bigger, got a lot more attention, I think, where they became at least a large college rock band or alternative band, you know, right here, Life Search Pageant, amongst my favorite records of all time. Right here, you see the back. This is kind of like a perfect record, I think. Begin to Begin, I believe these days, Cuyahoga, Swan Swan Hummingbird, Swan Swan H, Swan Swan Hummingbird. That's an amazing little acoustic song they did. It's awesome, amazing. Fall on Me was the single. They do a version of Superman, the great track. What If We Give It Away, another good song. This whole thing is just crazy good. And of course, you still have the IRS label there. But again, I think this is amongst the best records in history. My favorite one of their IRS time, at least, for sure. Now where are we going here? We got the next one. This was the one that had these were the biggest, I guess, top 40 hits at the beginning. The first time they actually had some top 40 hits was off Document. The songs, which are probably most known, The One I Love, obviously a huge song for them, and It's the End of the World as We Know It, and I Feel Fine. Huge songs. But this is actually a very good record. Finest Work Song and Welcome to the Occupation, Oxyman McCarthy. They do a version of Strange. I think that's Wire. I think it's Wire that did that originally. I'm not sure, but I know it's like a late 70s, early 80s kind of post-punk band that originally did that song. This one's like a little different because it's still IRS, but it's got like a silver instead of the other ones were like kind of like a gold looking type thing. We've got this in here, right there. That was, and I think hold on, I think I have something. Oh, I got two things actually I missed a couple stuff here. I want to show this to you first. So this is the 12-inch single. I should have shown you this when I was showing you Reckoning, but this is South Central Rain. And this is a 3-track. And hey, look, it's IRS. The B-sides on this were Voice of Harold, which I believe is an instrumental, but the other one they do is a version of Pale Blue Eyes, the Velvet Underground track. So that's a pretty nice piece to have. The other one I wanted to show you this, since I'm right here with it, is the Finest Work Song 12-inch. That's off of Document. This features a different version of Finest Work Song as a B-side. Actually, the main track on here is a remix, a club mix of Finest Work Song. And then they do a version of Time After Time. There's a live version on here. And Time After Time was from Reckoning, I believe. So, right there. That's that. So I wanted to get those in there. I don't have a ton of 12-inch singles. I don't have any 45s of theirs either, but I do have these two 12-inch singles. Now, speaking of that kind of thing and B-sides, this is Dead Letter Office. This came out between the end of their IRS contract and signing with Warner Brothers. I think it was an in-between thing. I don't know if they needed to get this out as some contractual thing. Not really sure, but this is basically their B-sides album. It's, you know, rare tracks and B-sides. So this is where all their cover versions are. Let me take a look at this. This, you can see that. Sorry, that's good. Crazy, There She Goes Again. I think those are both Velvet Underground songs. Burning Down, Voice of Harold, Burning Hell, White Tornado, Toys in the Attic, Aerosmith cover. So yeah, I mean, a lot of covers on this. Ages of You was the original song, Pale Blue Eyes, and Femme Fatale, another Velvet Underground song. So quite a bit of Velvet Underground covers on this record. So I mean, it's a little disjointed because it is just a collection of covers, or a collection of B-sides and stuff, but still pretty interesting. So that's Dead Letter Office. And then comes, I don't think these can, yeah. So next up was their major label debut, their Warner Brothers. This is Green. In my mind, still pretty similar to what Document had going on. There was a few things that sounded a little bit different for them, but overall, the label, of course, looks different now. No more IRS. But they like to make it so you can't see any song titles, too. This has so many good songs, though. Pop Song 89, You Are the Everything, Stand. Stand was another top 40 single for them. World Leader Pretend is one of my favorite tracks on here. It's hard to see all this stuff. Orange Crush was the other single, I think. Orange Crush, which is my favorite single off of this because it sounds okay, but it's kind of cheesy. You know, but yeah, a great record though. Solid. Probably like it more than Document, to be honest. But yeah, so major label debut, still pretty good. So now I'm going to go into some CDs because I don't have everything on vinyl and I want to show you what I have as much as possible. So the next record they put out was Out of Time. This is CD. This was sounding more and more like their major label style. They changed a little bit. Radio Song was the first song on there, and it was a single as well. Featured KRS-One on it. Losing My Religion was a huge single for them off of this. Shiny Happy People was another one of those kind of poppy songs they did. That was a big single for them as well. I think this is good. I love the song Low. I've always loved it. It's very slow and kind of, it builds up slowly. It has a really cool feel to it, you know. Yeah, Texarkana, Country Feedback, Half a World Away, I think, is the one. Oh, Near Wild Heaven, and I think there's another song. I think I know Near Wild Heaven has Mike Mills singing. He did sing on occasion, so then there's two songs on here that he sings on. Half a World Away is also another great track. You can see that. Oh, like that. But yeah. Good album. You can hear how they were changing step by step, I guess. But I also have the CD single, Losing My Religion. This is important because it has 3 B-sides: Fretless, Losing My Religion, Acoustic, and Rotary 11, which I think connects to, I think there was a song on Dead Letter Office that was another earlier B-side that had Rotary in it, so it might be connected to that. But the reason this is important is it has the song Fretless, which to me is the best R.E.M. song that never appeared on a record. It's an amazing slower song, very good chorus. Yeah, why that never ended up on. Next up, we've got Automatic for the People. This is my second of the Almost Perfect records, in my opinion. This is just a major label Almost Perfect record, and Life Search Pageant was more of an indie one. But this one, I mean, it's got Drive, it's got The Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight, Everybody Hurts, I think everyone knows that song. Man on the Moon, another big one. This album is just great top to bottom for me. This has its own kind of label here too. Oh, like that, like that. So yeah, this is a great one. One of my favorite albums of all time as well. That's it for the vinyl, but I do have a couple others to show off. Next thing they did was Monster. And this is when they decided to, to tour actually. They had stopped touring for a while. After Green, I think, they did Out of Time and Automatic for the People, and those were just studio records. There we have this. This was pretty good, but this is pretty different for them. This was like a hardcore rock album, to be honest. What's a Frequency, Kenneth? I think most people know. There's a few, I don't know, the Bang and Blame I think was another single. There's a bunch of other ones, but Let Me In was apparently written in regards to Kurt Cobain. This is all, with the exception of Tongue, I think, which was like, they had an organ in it, but everything else was rock. It was hard, you know, distorted guitar type rock and roll. So it's a little different, but you know, still good. Still good. And while they were touring, they were writing more songs and recording some of them, I think, during like sound checks and stuff. So that led to the next thing, which is New Adventures in Hi-Fi, which is interesting. It's I think they just reissued this one recently, but I always liked it. It was different, but it was good. How the West Was Won and Where It Got Us, it's how it starts. Ebo the Letter is a song they did with Patti Smith, and it's really, really fascinating. Wake Up Bomb is a good track. The whole thing is pretty good. It's just all over the place as far as the quality of the songwriting, it's good. The quality of the performance is good. It's just, I don't know if it's as cohesive as some of their stuff, but you know, it is an album that was written on tour, so, you know, and recorded partially on tour, so that's sort of understandable. So the last piece I have is Up. And this was a good record, but I don't know if it stands out as individual songs for me. Trying to think of much on here that it has. Walk on a Day Sleeper was a single, I think. Walk Unafraid is a decent song. There's quite a bit of good songs on here, but I don't think the album stands out as much for me, and the last 4 records are kind of like that for me. They're good, but they don't really fall in line with the earlier material as much, but I still kind of like them. So anyway, that's what I have in R.E.M. So hope you like that. If you did, you can always like and subscribe. Appreciate it. I also have a website, surfacenoise.ca. I'll leave a link in the description. You can check that out if you like. And as far as that goes, that's it for now. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.